Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to give you 10 latest defense updates. Number 1. MOD confirms Armenia brought ATAGS 155mm 52 caliber howitzer from India. India's defense export list that has been revealed by the Ministry of Defense confirms that sales for last year also included the indigenous advanced towed artillery gun system ATAGS 155mm 52 caliber howitzer gun from Armenia instead of truck mounted 155mm 52 caliber howitzer gun. Last year Defense Ministry remained mum on which artillery gun system was procured by Armenia and that will be manufactured by the Indian private sector company Bharat Forge, part of Kalyani Group. Next, India Army looking at marginally reduced orders for HAL Prachand LCH. Indian Army is looking to procure 90 to 95 units of HAL developed Prachand, a light attack helicopter from an originally envisioned fleet of 114 units. Indian Army will be operating 5 units of limited serial production batch of Prachand to carry out final internal trials before it takes the final order for the fleet. Next, Army plans to replace 60% of Mules with robotic mules and drone cargo. The Indian Army intends to reduce 60% of its mules by 2030, a critical component of animal transport convoy used to reach extremely exhausting and inhospitable conditions along the line of actual control in area ranging from Tuang to Ladakh. The Army wants to buy 4-legged robotic mules that can move autonomously across different terrain, self-recover and avoid obstacles. Next, American F-15s, IAF's Russian original Su-30s to engage in war games over Indian skies from April 3rd. Amid an ongoing conflict between Russia and the US-backed Ukraine, the Air Force of India and the US will hold war games at the Kalaikunda Air Base in West Bengal from April 10th. A squadron of the US Air Force F-15 Strike Eagle fighter aircraft will be arriving at the Kalaikunda Air Base in West Bengal for the COPE India series of war games, where the Indian side could be mainly fielding its Russian origin Sukhoi 30 jets, senior IAF official told here. Next, Narco syndicates on dark web, a big concern for enforcement agencies. In recent years, the dark web has become a hub for illegal activities such as drug trafficking, cybercrime and the human trafficking, and now reports suggest that Delhi is emerging as a hotspot for dark web syndicates. According to sources, a number of criminal groups in Delhi are using the anonymity of the dark web to carry out their illegal activities. These groups are using cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin to make anonymous transactions, making it difficult for law enforcement agencies to track them down. Next, Naya J K yani Jammu and Kashmir set to achieve economic self-reliance. Implementation of time-bound policies, action plans and development strategies post abrogation of Article 370, a temporary provision in the Constitution, have put Naya Jammu and Kashmir on the path of economic self-reliance. The recently released JK Economic Survey 2022-23 is a notch higher than the national average. It's an indication that the Union Territory is marching towards goals that seemed unachievable till August 5, 2019, when the Centre announced its decision to revoke J&K's so-called special status and bifurcate it into 2 union territories. Next, Indian Army seeks further improvements from HAL on indigenous light utility helicopter The Indian Army has sought improvements in the parameter of the indigenous light utility helicopter manufactured by HAL, with the autopilot system being of particular concern. The Indian Army and Indian Air Force will each receive 6 helicopters this year from the limited serial production that HAL is undertaking at its new facility near Tumakuru, which will be used to further access the helicopters, as the Indian Army has a requirement of 200 LUH class helicopters. IAF backs ALH Dhruv after latest accidents, but Navy remains on the fence. Since 2020, the ALH Dhruv has been involved in 4 crashes and 5 emergency landings, with the last 2 being attributed to aircraft belonging to the Indian Coast Guard and Indian Navy, both of which were of the most recent batch, prompting the Navy to temporarily ground the fleet in order to conduct a technical audit of the small fleet of ALH Dhruv that it operates. The ALH Dhruv is a trusted machine with the Indian Army and Indian Air Force, and it is also operated by the Indian Air Force Sarang Helicopter Air Display Team, which flies 4 modified HAL Dhruv helicopters. Next, China develops Global Hawk HALE drone for maritime surveillance. The People's Liberation Army Naval Air Force has begun acquiring the Guizhou WZ-7 Soaring Dragon high altitude long endurance, that is HALE drone, which will provide intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance capability over the South China Sea and the Indo-Pacific region. Next, India moves one step further towards having its own space shuttle or reusable rocket. India on Sunday moved a step ahead in getting its own reusable launch vehicle or sustainable reusable rocket, similar to space shuttle, with the country's space agency successfully completing the reusable, that is RLV, autonomous landing mission. The test was conducted at the Aeronautical Test Range, Chitradurga, Karnataka in the early hours on April 2nd. Thank you.